Hello, everyone. Welcome to Airport CEO. A game that I got to check out. This is going to be my first impressions of the game, and it's a game I got to check out thanks to a Pop Studios or Pop Studios. Sorry if I mispronounced the names. Yeah, a Pop Studios games. This is their basically their. I would almost say maybe their first game that they got going, and it's basically an airplane studio game or an airport tycoon game, if you will. And yeah, they've created one game up to now, which is Airport CEO. And yeah, I want to give you my first impressions, tell you my thoughts, and I want to say thank you to. I want to say, of course, thank you to Basso Studios for offering the key. And yeah, let's go ahead and get things started. Well, with of course, as you all know, first of all, we have the character. You can choose how they look, what they look like, and you can choose their hairstyle and everything. Of course, this is just your basic, character creator, if you will, in a sense. Gives you a good idea of what you can do. If you will, kind of a decent idea of the game. And yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and get things started. Now, I'm starting at the beginning. We can choose anywhere you want in the world. You can choose somewhere in the United States. You can choose to be somewhere like all the way out here in upper skin, which is a polar area. You could choose like somewhere in Greenland. You could choose to be somewhere in like Port Elizabeth, I guess, which is North Pole like area. You could choose, somewhere in China. You could choose to be somewhere in like Japan. You could be like Gold Beach, Sakura. You could be somewhere in Japan if you want to. Anywhere where you can think of, in a way, I would say. Anywhere you can think of in a way, you could think of it. You may know where you want to be. You could be there. I mean, you could be pretty much anywhere. I mean, honestly, like, there's nowhere that would be, out of your so-called area of choice. You could be like somewhere in China. You could be somewhere in here. You can be anywhere. Australia, obviously. Africa, somewhere in Africa. So, Britain, obviously. You could go into Britain, like here, Britain, Durham, You pretty much can choose wherever you want to be, Newcastle, wherever your heart desires. South America, California somewhere if you want to. It's all up to you. I mean, just choose somewhere that you feel like you want to go to, and that is your choice. That's like your place of choice, So we're going to start in, I think, let's go ahead and start out in Las Vegas, shall we? And yeah, let's go from there. So, of course, we can choose our airport name and our airport logo. We're going to call this, let's call this YouTube International. And let's make it like, I don't know. International Airport. Let's call it YEI. And then you can choose how much money you want to choose. We're going to start with moderate amount of money. And yeah, well, let's get to it, shall we? Now, this is your typical airport tycoon game, so, keep that in mind when you are playing that. This is basically your typical airport tycoon game. It's going to be your typical tycoon-like game, except you're going to be controlling everything in the airport, in the airfield. So, I know this first loading times can be a little difficult. It does seem like the loading times are fine, but they sometimes do take a little while, so keep that in mind. But here we are in our airfield. Now, I'm going to go ahead and skip this because we kind of know what we're going to do. So we're going to start with an easy thing, which is figuring out the air zone. We're going to put the run field, I think, a small runway here first. And we'll start with the runway. So let's make the runway right here, maybe? Yeah. Alright, so right there. We'll start, we're going to go ahead and start with also figuring out the staff. So if we go into here, we get your typical emails, operations, economy, staff, vehicle. So first things first, we need to open up a contract with people. So we can either choose the contract proposal between HWI, which the contract is HWI and YouTube International. HWI was established by Henry W. Yardley in 2010 and survived the 2012 economic crisis by solid investments and good company management. Its main field of operation is construction of gigantic indoor spaces such as power plants, stadiums, and airports. Please review the contract in detail before accepting. The contract basically is A2 maximum contractors, hourly fee of $9.6 dollars per hour, and you can get skilled workers. Or we could choose the one by Berkeley. Berkeley, this is a contract between Berkeley and YouTube International. Berkeley is an international construction group involved in some of the biggest structures in the world. Founded by Martin Berkeley in 1936, you think we build it. Please review the contract in detail before accepting. Following conditions apply, which is a maximum of 139 contractors, hourly fee of $6.07, but we get more, so we can choose one or the other. Now, honestly, I'd say we're going to go with Berkeley just so that we can have more people in case we need them, but it's up to you, obviously. With that being said, let's go ahead and get the basics started. So once we have our contracts in place, we now can work towards getting our constructors in order. I'm going to go ahead and deploy 30 contractors for now, or 30 people for now. You can deploy however many you want. I would recommend deploying at least 30 just to get things going. It'll help you. And then we just work on the basics of the construction. I mean, you are basically, as you will, creating your airport. This is your airport, basically. So, keep that in mind that you are going to be, building the airport that most likely will be, of course, set up for you to be, running for years. So after we got our airport foundation like we have here, we gotta build some taxiways. So we gotta build some stands, and I would recommend building it like right here. So you can do 1, 2. We're gonna do like 5 at the beginning, 4, and why not? Why not? Just to kind of keep it out of the way of the road. 5, like so. Alright, so once we've done that, I mean, obviously we gotta get a taxiway path, so let's make it to where we have taxiway here, and then it goes all the way over to here. And it goes there. There we go. Alright, now let's just get to work. Well, while that's working on our way, we gotta get to work here. So, well, we'll have our construction workers, as you can see, coming in, and as well as supplies for our taxi. And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and, as you can see, it's basically your basic airport, airport or airline, if you will, airline service, if you will. So, yeah. Time to get your hands dirty. Yeah. I got it. We gotta build the ATC, right? So let's build a small ATC for air traffic control there. And let's also build our vehicle checkpoint. Now the vehicle checkpoint, of course, is our entryway between the service road and the, of course, normal roads. Now, and right here, I think. So let's go ahead and just speed up things. But you got the idea. This is basically your typical airport kind of tycoon / simulator game. I'm really enjoying it, honestly. I personally like the way it was made. I like the aesthetic of it. Obviously, I mean, it is what it is, and it is just small tycoon. It's a simple type game. Has some good music. Very fun. But I think that's the main thing, is that it's a simple game that's fun to play, and I think it's well worth the it's well worth it. It's worth the time you put into it. It's fun to play. I personally would recommend it, especially if you are of course looking for an aviation type tycoon like game. That's pretty much where this game thrives. It's being like that aviation type game. It's kind of that game where if you are looking to play something and you want to make the game you want to make a game where you are basically in general doing the simple things, or just doing in general stuff like this, where you are creating a game that has an economy or whatever, or just is an aviation type like style game. That's where this game really, I think, honestly comes into play. I think this game is very fun. It's really worth it's definitely worth its money. It's worth the gameplay that you give it. And if you're into this style of gameplay, if you're really into doing some stuff like this, where you are in general controlling, or at least playing a part in this in this you like this aviation style type games, then this is definitely your game for sure. It's definitely worth your time. I think you're going to have fun playing this, and I think this is something where if you are of course, if you are a player who enjoys these aviation games, then this is where it is for you. And this is something that definitely can help you, especially with just generally in just making things happen. It's like I said, a very fun game. It's worth the money. I'm enjoying it, and it's definitely something where I would say, if this is your if this is your thing, and if this is your style, then I would highly recommend it. Because, I mean, again, you're going to have fun with this game. It's going to be enjoyable. I think you'll really enjoy this game, especially just for what it is, because, you know, it's a style of game that I didn't think much about. It was kind of under my radar, but you know, as a player or as a person who likes Tycoon games, as someone who really enjoys these, these Tycoon-like games and these games where you get to manage stuff, especially when it comes to aviation stuff, and you get to see, planes, like some planes, like this one here, it's cool to see, and I like it. I like that it has different model planes, different airplanes, and different stuff going on, and that's the one thing that I think I really enjoy about this. It's a fun title. I would definitely recommend it, and I'm going to go into a more in-depth review of my thoughts, but first impressions, it's an enjoyable game. It's something that I personally will say, if you are looking for a game that can, be worth playing, and it's something that, you want to enjoy, you want a Tycoon game, a new game that can give you control of, like, an airport, and, just the basics of building an airport, I think this is your style of game. This is definitely your thing. This is something that I would recommend, because it's just in general a fun game to enjoy and play, and I would recommend it. But with that having been said, I mean, obviously, this is Airport Tycoon. This is a fun game, cool game to enjoy. I enjoy it. I think you will enjoy it as well. But with that being said, check it out. If you like Tycoon type games, or if you're just an aviation freak or an aviation enthusiast, you probably will find yourself enjoying this game more than you think. And I think that's one thing. It's like, I think this is definitely something worth checking out, worth looking into. And just in general, I think you should check it out, because the people who made this game made it simple, but it's definitely enjoyable. It has a great soundtrack, and it's just in general fun. But with that being said, thank you everyone for joining me today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for hanging out. And I will see you all in the next one. But until then, everybody, farewell, everyone.